What's up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to another live stream. Happy Friday. It's Friday, right? Yeah, happy Friday. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. Listen, as you come into the building, thumbs up the live stream. I want you guys to make sure you are thumbsing up the live stream. That definitely helps to circulate the videos, you guys, the lives, and help me get more views on my content on this page, on this channel. So make sure you guys are thumbsing up the live stream as you come in. Shout out to everybody watching, everybody in the chat. I hope you guys are doing well. One in the chat, if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. I'm thinking the audio is good, but put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me perfectly fine. Go ahead and put those 1s in the chat if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. And hit that thumbs up button, you guys. Make sure you guys are liking the stream, okay? So make sure you go ahead and like the stream and put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me fine. If you're in the building and you are new to the channel, and if you like the content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It is free to subscribe, you guys. Also, make sure you are watching the content that is posted on the channel already. Make sure you are sharing and liking that content as well, and hitting that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content, y'all, and so that y'all be notified when I go live and all that good stuff. So make sure y'all are doing that. That definitely will help a sister out. Make sure you guys are doing that to support the channel. Shout out to everybody watching, everybody in the building, y'all, everybody in the chat. Shout out to Successful MD and all the moderators. Shout out to you, Successful MD, for definitely coming through with the moderating skills. I appreciate you. And everybody else who moderates the channel as well. Shout out to you guys. Alex, what's going on, Alex? How are you? I hope all is well. What is it? Shout out to you, BT, as for I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you for life. Thank you so much for being here. Adwan, thank you so much for being here. Mr. 100K a day, thank you so much. Fourth Dimension, Deshaun 86. Future King, what's going on? How are you? Thank you so much for being here. B, I think it's B Brooklyn 6521. Thank you so much for being Ryan. What's going on, Ryan? Ryan Wello T Sweets. What's going on? Thank you guys so much for being here. Lorenzo, all of you guys, thank y'all so much. Danny Omega. Shout out to you guys. Thank y'all so much for being here in the chat. So make sure you guys chime in the chat. Also, if you're feeling generous and you want to support the channel, y'all, super chats, cash apps, liking the streams, sharing everything, that definitely helps the channel out, you guys. So thank y'all so much for your support in any way that you support this channel. I appreciate y'all so much. What's going on, Kevin from Brooklyn? How are you? So you guys see the title, Modern Women Lack Self-Awareness and Love to Play the Victim Game Plus More. Of course, it's nothing you guys haven't heard already. A lot of modern women love to play the victims, and they are also they lack self-awareness. A lot of them aren't aware of their actions, so it seems that they aren't aware of their actions and what they do, but they like to hold others accountable and blame everybody else for the issues that's happening in their lives and the issues that they are actually causing. So it's a delusional state. Y'all know how I feel about that, but it is the reality in which we live in and how a lot of modern women are today, and how they act and how they behave, and how it is negatively contributing to their lifestyles and in their lives, and not just in relationships, but overall. A lot of these women seem to not understand why things aren't going the way they feel and believe that they should go, but they're lacking accountability and self-awareness to the point where they really seem lost in the sauce, and they seem to really not understand why they are not getting what they desire, and but not accepting and realizing that, hey, they play a major part in that. Imagine that. How you are the biggest contributor to you, that because you don't see yourself, because society, in my opinion, has made these women delusional to what's real and what's logical. So they really think that they're something else in spite of their actions, in spite of the lack of information or lack of knowledge of certain things. They still think that they're the best thing since sliced bread, and that they're just so perfect in every way. So they don't understand when the outcomes do not match the way they feel, if that makes sense. And I think it's a problem. And I think we need to address it, and we need to make it known that, these women lack self-awareness, and how important that is to be aware of yourself, beware of the choices that you make, beware of your actions, beware of how you portray yourself, be aware of how you come off to others. That is something that a lot of these women need to recognize, because and on top of that, you're very, very critical of men in particular, Black men in particular. Let's be real. You're very critical of Black men because you think that you're better and you are not flawed. You don't think, a lot of these women don't think that they have the same issues that they are complaining about in men, when in actuality, they actually have some of the same issues. Y'all were raised by the same mamas, the same single mothers. So a lot of y'all have a lot of the same issues, but for some reason, Black women are beyond reproach, and they don't think that it applies to them. They don't think that they have any issues. They don't have any flaws. They can't even name 3. They don't see themselves, but they're very critical of others. And that's a real major problem. So, I just think that it's something that we have to address. We've been addressing men with issues. We've been addressing how some men can be very, ratchet or just very horrible men, and how men have treated women for years. We got enough of that on social media. We got enough of women bashing men and talking about how horrible they are. They've got that covered. We've gotten that covered. We have so many talk shows and TV shows, and just the modern women narrative that men are the problem, men are this, men are that, they need to do this, they're at the bottom of the barrel. That's covered. We got that covered on social media. We got it covered on TV. We got it covered everywhere. So everybody knows, Black men got a problem. They need to do this. But what they haven't covered for years is the fact that a lot of these women don't have a lot of their ish together, and that they are part of the problem as well. So we don't need to keep focusing on men. That's covered. You can go to 1,000 pages and 1,000 people telling you how horrible Black men and their horrible experiences. But what you don't see enough of is men and others calling out the horrible nature of a lot of these women, and how these women have been toxic in relationships, how they have been abusive to men, the things that they have done to contribute to the downfall of communities and relationships, and their part in all of this. So that's the part that's been under reported and looked over and ignored, and not talked about in the way that it should be. So if we want to be equal in society, if we want to look at things in an equal way, we have to address the other side as well. We can't keep just putting it all on men without addressing the nature of women and how women have contributed to the downfall of communities and relationships. So we got to look at both sides. So we've done years and years and years of bashing men and talked about how they're this and they're that. But we haven't done years and years and years of talking about the nature of women and how women mess over good men and how they do a lot of the same things that they complain about in men. So it's time to focus on the combative nature of women so that they can start to understand that they're not perfect and that you make mistakes, but it's justified, so you think it's okay. And nobody has ever really addressed it. And this is why they're so shocked and appalled when people talk about the nature of women, when they know, in fact, that a lot of that behavior is unacceptable and they shouldn't be doing it. But because there's no accountability, they can continue to perpetuate that and continue to push the narrative that, women are perfect and just the men. They're going to keep doing it because they don't want to be looked at as the villains. They're always the victims, right? So you don't want to look at the fact that you are doing something wrong because you just don't want to be wrong. You want to make it seem like it's just all the men. And it's time's up for that. We have to look at both sides. If we're going to call men out on their BS, we got to call women out on their BS as well. We can't just leave them sitting back. That's why it's gotten so bad, because nobody has ever called it out. Nobody has ever, there were people called it out, but they received a lot of pushback. Because how dare you call a woman out on her BS? Like, come on now. Y'all are equal to men. You wanted to feel equal to men. You got that equal. So now you got to be equally called out on your BS the way you call it out on men. I'm not ignoring the fact that there are horrible men and horrible people out here. Men have broken up their relationships or treated women badly or abused women. That is a fact that has happened. And it's not just with Black men. It's just there are Black people, there are white people, there are all races of people who do horrible things. So we're not ignoring it, but we know all that to be the truth. And we've pondered on it and talked about it so much, but ultimately made it seem like it's just a black man thing. See, we really put the black man completely down, and the black men in general, as if this is the nature of all black men, and that's not the case. So we got to separate the bad ones from the ones who are productive and doing what they're supposed to do. Just like women would want others to separate the ratchet hyenas from the productive, traditional loving women out there. Because there are those women, and then there are the ratchet hyenas who think they're everything since sliced bread, and they don't want to be called out on anything. So it's time's up to just to keep on badgering men and putting them down without acknowledging how ratchet and how horrible a lot of these women are, and how they just are lost, but they think they're everything and 10 bags of chips, child. They think that they're the best thing ever because they got a vagina and they got a job, and they think that they're, there's no correction for them. So we got to talk about it. That's why we talk about it, because it hasn't been talked about enough. So that's why now the focus has always been on men and still on men, but now we got to put the focus on these ratchet hyenas and how their behavior is affecting relationships and community. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it. They don't like it because any person who doesn't want to make a change is not gonna like any type of constructive criticism. They're gonna not like any type of correction, period, because you don't want to make a change because you like it where you are. You can benefit from that in certain ways, even though I don't think they still get the outcome they think they feel they should. You're the one actually benefit from that because you don't have to be held accountable for your atrocious behavior. You could just constantly blame men and just, walk on off in the sunset and think that you're doing something great. So nobody who's out here doing this, who doesn't want to make changes, is going to be happy when they're brought to the forefront. And that's what we see happening. That's why, they are bitter and mad, because they're being called out. Successful MD, thank you for the super chat. Says women are perfect as a can of great value bread. Thank you for the super chat. Successful MD, I appreciate you. I mean, yeah, it's like, that no accountability whatsoever, and they are perfect in their minds, but they're not getting perfect outcomes. They are not, and that's why they're mad as well. So we go, as you meant bag. Okay, gotcha. As a bag of great value bread. Thank you for the super chat, Successful MD. So that's it, you guys. That's just what it is. And so when I get questions as well, or statements stating that, all you do is bash women. No, that's all women have done was bash men for the longest. Talk shows did it. Everybody did it. Black men, are just the what's the word I could use? The ones they like to pick on, just put it all on them. They're so horrible. They're so this, but the black woman is perfect. We know that's not true. So to be fair, for years, all black men have been portrayed as these horrible men. They aren't responsible parents, and that's been debunked. They're not in their children's lives. And this is what they want the narrative to continue to be, but we know that's not the truth. So we got to call it out. If we sit back and not say anything and just let that narrative continue, that will be the narrative as it's been for years. So now that we have more information, we have more insight, we have more knowledge on what is happening, we got to talk. You can't let it just fade in the background. You got to bring it to the forefront. And then one way to do that is to call out the other side's behavior as well, because they contributed to this. So that's just what it is. And they don't like it, but it is what it is. So we're going to jump into the first clip, y'all. I have this clip that I want to share with you guys, which I thought was interesting. And I definitely want you to chime in the comments. So make sure you guys are thumbsing up the live stream, you guys, and chime in the chat on this particular clip. Here we go.
I don't always want to be strong.
Fellas, don't worry. I got this one. Ladies, we don't see you as strong when you do everything on your own. We see you as somebody who can't cooperate with other people. Obviously, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. The reason that you guys have to do everything alone is because you can't cooperate with people who might want to help you, or you pick bad people to try to help you. because you're selfish and hard-headed and nobody can tell you anything and your egos are tremendous and you can't follow instruction or you don't want to because nobody can tell you what to do because you're single, you're independent, and can't nobody tell you nothing and you don't need a man. So we don't see this thing, the independent woman, as strong. We see her as hard-headed, disagreeable, and combative, just so you know.
No lies detected. No lies detected. And the thing about it is a lot of these independent, strong black women, shout out to Danica Marie because she says that like that. I mean, she talked about the pick me's and the pass me by child. It's hilarious, but it's the truth. A lot of these strong black women who chose to be independent, they don't need no man. You know how that go. It's like you want to be strong on one hand, and then on the other hand, you want to be soft and you want sympathy for you being strong because they act as if it wasn't a choice. It's something they had to do. And I don't fully agree with that. I think as adults, you know that you have to take care of yourself, but also the priority for a lot of these women were not family. We're not family, a family, the complete family, you know what I mean? Husband, wife, and the children. No, their idea of family and what they were indoctrinated to be or do was they don't need a man. And, we've seen that documentary from, I don't know when, probably 80s or early 80s, or where these young women were single mothers and their sons were getting into trouble and being arrested and things of that nature. But they were sitting there saying, living in the projects, saying they don't need a man. They can raise their babies by themselves because they had projects. So they had government assistance, not financial aid, but they had, a place to stay where they didn't have to pay, and they were getting government assistance. So they didn't feel like they needed a father for their children. So this is not a new thing. It's just like, I think because a lot of women hate these types of women, not all women, hate to recognize the mistakes and the indoctrination that took place. They hate to acknowledge that was a mistake and that was not beneficial to them or our communities or their children. They hate to acknowledge that. They want to stay in this mindset that is not the truth. They hate to hear the truth. You want to continuously believe that is somehow beneficial to you, that it's okay to bring children into the world without fathers, that you're the end all be all, and that's all that the child needs in their lives. Because you chose badly and you don't want to accept the fact that you made a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. And also acknowledge the fact that y'all were given the wrong information. We all were. I'm not excluded. We were all given the wrong information. We were told you don't need a man. You can do it all by yourself. Your child don't need a father. You can raise that child by yourself, not understanding the dire consequences that come along with that. And we see how it plays out. These young men, especially, grow up without fathers on purpose. And look what happened. They're struggling. They're in the system. That they can't thrive because they didn't have a stable home to begin with. They didn't have stable mothers and fathers in the household. Because what a lot of people fail to acknowledge too is that a lot of these women were disturbed and triggered and lost. They didn't know what they were doing. And all these young teen mothers, they didn't know what they were doing. And I always say, look, when you don't know what you're doing or you don't have the right guidance, the first thing that people run to is sex. Why? Because that's easy. Especially for women, it's easy. Sex is what everybody do. Your children, you raise them if you've raised them, or if they were raised. A lot of them want to, they grow up and they leave home. And what typically happens? They go to college. A lot of them were taught, oh, you go take care of yourself. Don't depend on nobody. Depend on you. That's just what it is. And then you weren't taught for the most part. And once again, this is not everybody, but for the ones that it applies to, you weren't taught to prioritize relationships. Even if you went to school, you didn't. We talk about other races of women who go to college and be engaged before they graduate. They plan on getting married and then go into whatever they're going to do with their lives. Well, not us. You prioritize that and that's it. But you're not just going to school and focusing on that. You're sleeping with people. And then what happens? Half of them drop out of college. Then guess what? You're back home. And guess what? You're back home with a big stomach. A baby. So now you've put yourself in this sticky situation to where now you got a whole person to take care of. You didn't finish school. Now you got to, start over. You got to start from scratch. And that hinders you because now you got to worry about this child that you created. There's no father there because it was a good time. They said, go out, have your fun in your 20s. That was the message. Have your fun in your 20s. Go get your education. That means go sleep around, have fun sexually as if there's no other type of fun. And then you pop up with diseases or babies. And now you got to, put a halt in that and go home, right? And now you got an extra mouth to feed. Now you got to become responsible. So you push yourself back. Now and then so because women make those choices, they don't see it as a choice. They see it as, I don't know how they see it, but it's the choices you made. But it was what you were told to do. You were told that was okay. Have your fun in your 20s, go to school, take care of yourself, and that's what they did. But didn't realize out of that fun, you end up pregnant, you become a single mother. Yeah, you go maybe get that degree, but that doesn't set you up for your future in a way that you think it will. See, they didn't tell you, if you want to go to school, prioritize, go get some, I don't know, some type of feminine training or, prioritize your husband. Make sure you find a husband in that school if you're going to go. Get you a husband so that you can have a family. Prioritize family. Get you a husband, have you some kids, create a family. That way you have a stable household because you go out and you get the babies anyway. That way you have a stable foundation that you can build upon. You can always go back to school. You can still get a degree if that's what you want. Plan out a life for yourself with a full family, a man, a wife, and the kids. They don't understand that that's how important that is because they were never told that it was important. They were actually told, that a man, whatever, that ain't nothing. You could always go back and get a man, honey. You can go back and get a man when you don't have to be serious about relationships. Go get you a man when you ready. When you're ready, go, get you a man because you don't have to prioritize a man. What? So that's not something that us as Black women, for the most part, we're taught to prioritize. I know some women, Black women who were taught that, and it's far few in between. But some have, but the majority of us were not taught that. We were made to look at men like men are not a priority. We don't really need them. We could get one whenever we want because they'll just be sitting around waiting. They just, we don't got to worry about that. When we want one, because we're women, we run the world. We could get that man whenever we want to. So but you don't take into consideration the fun that they told you to have. And then the babies that come along with it and how that looks to a man who's been raised and taught to have a sense of self-worth and value himself. They didn't take into consideration how men of value would look at them or perceive them. See, don't worry about a man because men like vagina. They come dime a dozen. We could get a man anytime we want to, child. We don't have to prioritize that. A man, girl, hell with that. I don't want to be locked down. I got to go out and have my fun. I got to do me, and do you and create this single mother epidemic, right? And you don't need it. And then when you're ready, you 30, somewhere around 30s, 35, hitting them 40s, you're ready. Now you're tired of running the streets. You're tired of, riding the CCs because now that's old. And now you want to settle down. 2-3 baby daddies later, you got your degree, you got a house, you feel accomplished. You got the things that you set out for, But the only thing that's missing is that man that you didn't prioritize, that you didn't feel you needed, but now you want him when you're ready. Not understanding that the position that you put yourself in disqualifies you for the man that you want now. And on top of that, at that age, your expectations are through the roof, right? Your expectations are through the roof. What you want from a man is high. It's super unrealistic because you think that you're at your best worth and value at 35, 40. You think that this is your best. Because you realize now, because you're tired of running the streets and you're tired of being out there, you're tired of just being for whoever. Now you in your mind think that you're at the best place in your life, that you're, you know what I'm saying? That you're, you know what I'm saying? You think that you're at the best part of your life. You think that you're the best thing since sliced bread at 30s, somewhere in them 30s, somewhere 40. You think you're in the best place. You think you're your best self. That's how you feel. You feel like you've grown. You feel like you're just better, but not understanding you feel like you're better. But the men who you now want don't look at you as better. But you try to shame them for that as if that's a problem, not realizing that you set yourself up for failure, boo. That's what they're saying. That's what they're seeing now, and they don't like it. But it's the truth. It doesn't make you a bad person. You just made poor decisions, and you didn't understand that when you get to a point where you feel like you're at your best and you want the best men, you forgot to calculate that these men that you want something too. That's all I'm saying. And it's not shade. It's not hatred. It's not any of that. It's just the truth. And it's unfortunate that these women, they realize it, but they don't want to accept it because it doesn't benefit them. And they don't like it because you did not take into consideration or factor in that the choices you made from your past are directly affecting your present, and it will affect your future, and not in the ways that you wanted to. So that's where I say a lot of these women have been lied to. They've been set up. They've been hoodwinked, and they don't even want to accept the fact that that is the case. So how are you supposed to do better and help your situation? Or at least if it's over for you, at least try to help the next generation. At least try to teach your daughters better so that they don't fall into this same trap. Successful MD, thank you for the super chat. Says, no, DeeDee, it's strong and independent, child. Well, they're going to be strong and independent by themselves, and that's just what it is if they don't get it together. Thank you once again for the super chat. I appreciate you, Successful MD. Farrell, thank you so much for the generous super chat. I appreciate you, Farrell. Farrell says most degenerates go to college to steal the financial aid check and then drop out, child. I guess that stands for American Black women are just lying on the college claim to get college finances. Wow. Thank you once again, Farrell, for this super chat. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, Farrell. Hope all is well with you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I just think they don't want to accept the truth. And I always say the truth shall set you free. It'll open you up to better opportunities. Why not, instead of trying to go to OnlyFans, which we know is a dying breed, I did a video on that as well, but why don't you use your experiences to teach and tell the next generation of women that, that, hey, it may be over for you, because it's over for a lot of these women. They just don't realize it or don't want to accept it. And maybe change a career path to start teaching these young women that they should go a different route, that this is not the route to go. Maybe start doing some work and speaking to the youth and changing the narrative and change your mind and use it to do some good, as opposed to constantly trying to perpetuate this whole phase and this whole lifestyle. And this is fleeting for a lot of these women who have chosen that as well. It's not benefiting them. It's not benefiting them. It's dwindling away, and they're just gonna find themselves lost and with no options and nowhere to turn. But instead of making a decision to do something better, with your choices as opposed to just staying there and not being accountable and just keep perpetuated as if it's the best thing ever, knowing that it's not. Why don't you use it and turn it around for some good? That's how I see it. My 2 cents says it's crazy how they don't take into consideration how they put the child at a disadvantage by raising the child without the father. Ebony K should be ashamed of herself because she's educated. Exactly. Educated, going to school and getting a degree doesn't mean that you're really educated. You just got a degree. And we see that very clearly. School does not equal education through schooling. Getting a degree does not really make you educated and educated on all matters, because clearly they're educated in the fields that they chose to go in, but they're not educated when it comes to men and relationships. And I say it all the time, but a lot of women think that, because they've been to school, that, they know it all. No, you don't, boo. You might know if you went to school to be a doctor and whatever, the doctor lingo and terminology, what tools are needed to take a heart out or whatever it is you went, that, medical terminology, that stuff, but you don't know what is best when it comes to relationships and what men want. Cause you would think they would learn that and it's not that difficult, but they're stuck in the fact that I'm educated. I have 2 degrees. So what does that mean, boo? Congratulations to you for going to school and getting your degrees, but that don't mean you know everything. Period. Thank you for the super chat, my 2 cents. Thank you once again. My 2 cents says, I guess they have deluded themselves so much thinking they can beat the odds, but the statistics tell all, even if you at margin of error. So you said the statistics tell it all, even if you at a margin of error, or still it still goes against them. Right. I get what you're saying. My 2 cents. Yeah, I do think you made a good point. And thank you once again for the super chat. You made a good point that, every woman who thinks like that thinks that they're going to beat the odds. A lot, you hear the way these women speak that, it's not going to be that way for me. I'm going to beat the odds. I'm going to get everything that I want. And they tell themselves that, believing that, but they never see that outcome. Thank you once again, my 2 cents. I appreciate you, brother. They think that they're going to beat the odds, that they're different, that even though their actions is quite common, and you see other women who've chosen the same route that you've chosen, they weren't able to get the outcomes. You see these 60-year-old women who were once attractive, gorgeous, vibrant young women now are turning to older grandmas. Even if they don't have grandchildren, they look like grandmas. They're elderly ladies now. And they're still in this delusional mindset. And shout out to the grandmas, because listen, to get old supposed to mean you gain some type of wisdom. And also not only that you've been able to thrive and live in this world to get old. That is a blessing. So I want to get old. I want to get old. So because I want to keep living as long as I can. So no disrespect to people aging, because it's a part of life. And if you want to live and you don't want to die young, to get old is a blessing. So that's no shade to that. But the thing about it is the mentality that you would think as an older woman, you grow and you become more knowledgeable, you gain more wisdom, and you shouldn't think the same way you thought when you were 20 years old. That's the whole point of getting older and gaining knowledge and wisdom, is that you learn better and you do better. And if you don't have the opportunity to go back and, to change certain things, at least you have the knowledge. That way you can teach others the knowledge and the wisdom that you've learned based off your experiences. Tell the younger generation, coming after you, that they can do it differently. But far too often we see the older bras still speaking the same old rhetoric as the 20-year-old chicks. I swear to you, it's the oddest thing ever. They haven't learned anything. It was so cringeworthy when I saw Vivica Fox saying, I want a man. And that's how she was talking. I want a man who can take me shopping. I want a man who's not intimidated by what I do. I'm like, girl, at this point, stop. Stop. It's not becoming. It doesn't look good. You too old to still be talking about a man. He gotta let me go shopping. He's not intimidated by. No man is intimidated by what you do. He might be intimidated by how old you are and might not want to deal with you. I'm just saying, nothing wrong with aging, but most men who've established themselves, or just men in general, are not going for a 60-year-old woman. You are not the same 20, 30-year-old Vivica Fox. You're older. I'm almost about to choke. You're supposed to be wiser. And to say, what y'all call it, arrested development, is that what that is? Where you haven't moved past that 25, 30-year-old you? You in your mind still see yourself at that age when outwardly we see something differently. And I think it's just it's odd to see, but it's a reality that we must face. I mean, it's crazy. Manny Eve, thank you so much for the super chat, says looking in the mirror can be hard, child. Right. Many need to grow and accept what they need to change lifestyles. Personal maturity is lacking, and it doesn't always correspond to one's age. Well, good point. Good point, Manny. Thank you for the super chat. Good point. But it's like, I see too many older broads who are delusional, who should be speaking a lot differently, but they're not. So it's like they're stuck in a time warp where they really see themselves as their younger selves. You don't see the fact that you're older and that the things that you're saying just doesn't make any sense. And y'all know I always say, anything is possible, but is it likely? But I think a lot of women still have this mindset that, no matter, how I think, because even if it's not the age thing, thank you once again, Mandy, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Even if you are older, but you have some sense, there might be somebody who look at that and say, you know what, she got her head on right. You know what, I'm going to give her a chance. I'm attracted to her personality. I'm attracted to how she thinks. I can get somewhere with her. Because look, but the problem is the older women still think like young girls. And what's this saying where I heard where they say, my husband was talking about this too, how young women see themselves as see themselves as younger women, and men see themselves in younger men. Like they see themselves in a younger man so they can talk to them about being a young man and give them some tips and some tidbits and some knowledge. But women see themselves as the young women. It makes sense because that's the way they still see themselves as that younger version of them. They don't see themselves as an older woman, and that's why they talk the way they talk. It's like you don't want to accept the fact that you're elderly now, that you can be somebody's grandmother. You still see yourself as that younger version. Even if you don't look like it, even if you don't have the outcomes you thought you should have, you still talking like that that society is looking at you the way you see yourself, and they're not. It's a tragic mindset, in my opinion. It really is. Hit the like button, you guys. Make sure you hit the like button. So it's definitely a problem. But this is why I say a lot of women lack self-awareness. You don't see yourselves. You don't see yourself, and they are afraid to look in the mirror, and because they don't want to acknowledge what they will see. So it's like they pretend or make themselves believe something else. That's why people who do that, honestly, they can't look at reality because it's too painful. It's too hurtful. You don't want to really dig into what is actually there because you don't really like it. See, you don't really want to face the facts because it's too painful to accept. So you make this or create this delusional mindset and world that you can live with, that you can be okay with. And I get it, but I think that's a dangerous thing to do because at some point reality is going to smack you in the face. You're going to have to accept it. So why not just look at what's real, what is, and work with that as opposed to convincing yourself? Because to me, when you convince yourself, and you become delusional, you're never going to come out of the delusional state. And on top of that, you're still not going to be happy with that. I could see if you make yourself delusional and make this world to where you're happy in it and you're just thriving there and you want to stay there and you're happy. Okay, if that's what you choose to do, but they're still not happy in even a delusional world, because there's always going to be something that triggers your reality, your real reality. And this is where these women become bitter and angry, because you're trying to navigate a mentality that you know is not, or a delusion that you know is not real, but you're trying to be there, and then every now and again reality hits you or triggers you, and somebody says something. This is why a lot of these women are easily triggered. As soon as you say something they don't like, they're ready to shame you and call you names, because that's their coping mechanism. That's the way they cope. The best way to cope. This is why they always say we need to get rid of these male podcasters, because they have something to say and you don't want to hear what they have to say, because it directly disrupts your delusional mentality. It brings you back to reality to make you realize you are not what you've made yourself believe you are. And they can't take it. They can't take it. As long as they have the sisterhood and society telling them, oh my God, all women are 10s, no matter you 400-500 pounds, honey, no matter if you look like the crypt keeper, you're a 10, you're the best thing ever. All women are just great, no matter your mentality, no matter how you think, no matter how you treat people, no matter what type of person you are. Oh, you're just great. You can do no wrong. They love it there. That's the best place for them, because they can feel entitled. They can feel like they're walking around like they're everything and they can put other people down. That makes them feel good. But when you say, take them goddamn wigs off, take that goddamn makeup off, take them long eyelashes and nails off, let's see what you really look like. Let's see what do you bring to the table? What are you really made of? Lose about 300 pounds, get yourself in the gym, do this, do that. Oh, that's too much reality for them. That's too real. That's like a slap in the face. Like, how dare you tell me to do better with my body and do better with myself? Get a therapist. You know what I mean? Stop being delusional. Wake up. Look at reality. Drink some logic juice. Get it together mentally. Oh, hell no. That's too much. That's too real. I don't want to live there. I want to keep living in this delusional fake world because it soothes me. It makes me feel like I'm on point and like I'm perfect and like I can do anything. But you still not even happy there, child. They still not happy there. So how well is it really working out for you? Because and you can't shut down the world. You can control how delusional you want to be, but you can't control other people's reality. You can't control everybody who has an opposing view. You can't control what other people want to say, how other people want to feel, how other people see you. You can't control that. And that's a problem because they really want to be able to, especially control men and anybody else. You want to control their narrative, what they think, their feelings, you can't do that. You can only control you. And that's that. And that's what they don't like. They don't like anybody who has an opposing view on how they've made themselves feel. They don't like it because it's too much truth. It's too much logic. It's too much reality for them. And that's just what it is. And that's why I get it. I'm not really mad at women who think like that. I just understand it. And I understand where they're coming from, because at the end of the day, child, it's your life. You can do what you want with your life. I say this all the time, but if you're not getting the outcomes that you want, you need to change. And if you don't want to change, baby, you're going to keep going in circles. That's you. That's not everybody else. And you can't get mad at others who make better choices or different choices and get different outcomes. You can't be mad at them. And I mean, you can be, but it's still not going to make your situation miraculously change. You can manifest all you want. If you don't make any changes to you, then you're going to keep going in circles with the same outcomes that you've been getting. And that's nobody else's fault. You can't blame men. You can't blame nobody else. It's you, because you are in control of the choices you make. And that's that. It's nobody else's fault. So that's where you have to become self-aware, take some accountability, and start making better choices. Bottom line. Farrell, thank you once again for the super chat. Says that's why study abroad got my back. Advisors and organizers want to help me transfer colleges and even settling in Thailand to get with them chocolate Blasian and indigenous fine women, folks.
Can't handle the truth.
Thank you for the super chat, Pharaoh. I appreciate you. I see what you're saying. Listen, y'all know I'm already for doing what you got to do to get what it is you want. It doesn't matter who it is. You know, it don't matter who it is. Do what you need to do to get what you want out of this life. Life is too short for this shit. Thank you, Pharaoh. I appreciate you, sir. Life is too short. So you got to make the best of the life that you have, you know, and why wouldn't you want to try to do or pick the best options to give you what it is that you want? If you're single and you want to be single and you're happy there, kudos to you. I ain't mad at that. If you don't want any children, okay. I may not agree with that, but I can't control your choices. If that's what you want, kudos to you. I may not agree with it, but I can respect it. I don't agree. You know, I think as women and men, we are put here to procreate, to multiply. That's how the world keeps going. That's how we have people to make the world go round. So I just think that, you know, in my opinion, as a woman, if you decide you can have children, there's nothing wrong with you can. I personally think that that's a waste, in my opinion. I think that that's part of the reason why we're here. So I think it's important to recreate life, like to bring children into the world, because we're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. That's the whole point. And in my opinion, I think women who purposely choose not to have kids, I think is a selfish thing, and I think it defeats one of the main reasons as to why we're here. You know, so I think you're just wasting a lot of time. Not saying that you can't be productive in other things. Of course, we see it, but I think personally, I just think that's a selfish act. But at the same time, I can respect a person who makes that choice. I can't control you. I'm never going to say, oh, well, you need to do it. No, it's your choice. We've all been given free will to choose what it is we want to do. So I'm not going to try to control other people's choices. We may not agree, but it's still, I respect your choice. That's it. Because I can't control you. I can only control me. And the things that if I think that way, I'm going to move that way. And that's why I have the amount of children that I have, because I believe in that. And also my husband, and you know, this is what we wanted, and we made the choice to do it. So I'm happy with my choice, and hopefully everybody else is happy with their choices. But the problem that we see is a lot of people are not happy with their choices. And then the people that are happy with their choices get pushback and get told that the choice you made, and you're married and you got all these kids, well, you're not happy. You can't be happy. No, you got to be out your rabbit ass mind. No, I'm not telling you you're not happy. I'm saying you're complaining about not being happy about your choices and blaming somebody else. Then you're truly not happy, because the people that are happy with their lives aren't complaining. And we see a lot of people complaining about the choices that they made. So I don't get it. Am I missing something? Paul Harrison in the building. Shout out to you. Thank you, Paul, for being here. I appreciate the generous super chat once again, Paul. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you as always. He says, hey, DeeDee, happy Friday the 13th. It's the third. Oh, it is. Smart men have already married up the beautiful ones, such as yourself. Thank you, DeeDee. So what's left? Hyenas and jackals, child. Creatures of the night, intergalactic demons with bad attitudes, baby. Baby, what is, I said we're in an alternate universe that includes, child, intergalactic demons with bad attitudes and creatures of the night, child, hyenas and jackals, child. Baby, that's what's left. Paul said that's what's left, honey. Shit. I mean, that's what it seems to be. I mean, because they're not showing anything other than that, you know. And this is why I say, because I do believe, Paul and others, that I think there are still some good women, but these women are hidden somewhere. They're scared to come to the forefront. I don't know. And this is why I say women, the good women that are left, if there are some, y'all gonna have to make yourselves known. You don't have to bring yourself to the forefront. You can't be scared. The old traditional way of dating is done with. This is modern society, and the only thing that seems to be at the forefront are these creatures of the night, child. The intergalactic demons and bad attitudes. Wow. That's what seems to be at the forefront. So if you want to, you really want a man, you really want something serious, baby, you got to make your way out from behind the scenes. You got to push yourself to the forefront. Let these men know you're not a part of the pack. I'm just saying. The old mind, if you sitting back at home and you're a good woman, you're like, I'm doing it the traditional way. My mama said all of that. He finds a great thing that I'm just going to sit back. I don't have to do anything. And he's going to find me. You better stop that, because that ain't going to happen these days, child. Thank you once again, Paul. I appreciate you for the super chat. Which brings me to this little clip that's perfect for that, what I just said, because this is how a lot of women still think. And I think this is what's keeping them back as well. Listen to this.
Hey, good morning, TikTok. Let's have a quick conversation about this. It says, sir, first, let me correct you. Women aren't supposed to compete for a man. The word states, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Secondly, black women overall are exhausted. And then she goes on to say other stuff that makes no sense. All right, so I'm going to tell you very directly. This is why God is very clear about women not ministering or pastoring. You ladies take the word and twist it into whatever it is you like to justify whatever things it is you are doing. The purpose of this verse is a basis for appreciating your wife. It's a basis for understanding the value of a wife. It has absolutely nothing to do with justifying a zero effort disposition towards finding a good man. It's not a basis for trying to tell women that men are supposed to be absolutely free, that they cost no effort, no intention, that you don't need to meet any standards that a man has, because a man is supposed to seek you out and accept you however it is you are. That has absolutely nothing to do with the verse that you're referring to. And I see often people who aren't even Christians, or who think they're Christians, but also believe in natal charts and birth signs and crystals. They're occultists, they're witches. And I watch them weaponize the word every single day. And more than anybody else, it's our women. Judge not, lest you be judged yourself. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. You remove the log from your eye. They only know the scriptures that are a combat to anybody trying to correct their behavior. Those are the only scriptures that they know. When it comes to the standards in that book that are on them through the doctrine of God, they don't have a clue about that. They're not willing to meet them. They couldn't care less. They only know the scriptures that justify them doing whatever the hell they want. Those are the ones they know. And they know them outside of context. And the only time they're willing to quote them is when it's time for them to justify some bullshit. It's not when it's time for them to hold each other accountable, hold themselves accountable. It's when they're trying to get something for nothing. So, ladies, if you want to know what a scripture means, ask your husband, ask your pastor, but don't come online and sit up and try to use the word to make it where nobody can judge righteously your behavior, right from wrong, right? Or to justify you being lazy and not competing at all for a good man, because a good man requires it. And the reason a lot of you ladies can't find one is because you don't meet that base requirement of even wanting to compete. That's why it's a hard thing for you to find a good man. It's not because there are none. It's because good things don't just fall in your lap. Good things you have to make sacrifices for. You have to prepare for.
Exactly.
You have to focus on. You have to pray for. Right? You have to live a life in preparation so you create the space for that good thing. And that includes a husband. Enjoy your day.
Oh, baby, listen. No lies detected. No lies detected. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. No lies detected. And he said it in a different way from what I'm typically saying, but it's the same thing. These women want something for nothing. You want the man, meet the man at the finish line. You don't want to work towards anything. You don't want to prioritize it. You don't want to work for it. You don't want to work to maintain it. You don't want to do any work. You are sitting up, just want to be this what they call passenger princess. Just sit there and enjoy everything that a man can bring to you, but you don't want to put in any work. It's crazy. And I see this all the time too. These people want to become Christians and quote the Bible when they want to make a point, or they feel like they can, like this, want to feel like they can use that in some way to justify their actions, and they still be wrong. You're still using it in the wrong way. But if you can convince people that, oh, see, this is what it's supposed to be, but they don't talk about that when they go and open them legs up for Pookie. You ain't talking about that when you out here talking about, I'm just trying to get to the D. You ain't worrying about the Bible and God and Jesus and all this. Then when you trying to get your rocks off, you could care less about the word. Then that don't stop you. So it's very selective. They're selective in what, of when they want to use the word and use God and all of this. You're selective in your approach, and you just want to use anything to justify your actions without making any changes or holding yourself accountable, any of it. It's very clear. But you got to ask yourself, how's that working for you? Because y'all seem to be complaining all the time about one thing or another. So it doesn't seem like that's working. But you want to keep on doing the same things and still complaining, thinking that you're going to get a different outcome. It doesn't make any sense. It's not smart, educated women. Successful MD says the seeds of Pookies and Pookisha are in droves. Thank you once again, my Successful MD. My 2 cents says, they always talking about how a man needs to come whole, but relationships by default is designed to make you whole. To be better is to interact and be confronted with that mirror in relationship brings forth over time. My 2 cents facts. I mean, it's that I never understood that anyway, because listen, I always say, listen, a relationship is about bringing 2 people together from different walks of life, different experiences. It's 2 people who have different upbringings for the most part, have different perspectives. You may agree on the foundation of things or certain things, like you want marriage, both of you. You want a family, both. You want kids. You want to live your life a certain way. You agree upon certain things, but y'all still are 2 different people. So the whole point of a relationship and a marriage is to come together as one. That you come together. That's why it's for good, bad, better, worse, death do us part, ups and downs, sickness and health, because they knew that, hey, there's going to be some differences here. There's going to be good times, bad times, but you vow to one another and before God that you're going to push through. You're going to make it work. It doesn't mean, that the marriage got to be tumultuous and it's toxic all the time and y'all don't never get along. No, it means that you're 2 different people who are not always going to agree. But you love each other enough. The love is there. The foundation is strong. So you go through it, That's what it's all about. No matter, and I don't, once again, for the life of me, I don't understand how people think a relationship. And when they say relationship, they're talking about the men, y'all, men. Men are supposed to be perfect. Men are supposed to be whole, knowing that they are not whole themselves, but it's okay, right? Women don't have to come to the table whole. Women don't have to have had no therapy. They don't have to have worked through their issues. They could just come to take them as they are, right? But for the men have to come whole. But this is the part that they don't understand. The same way they talk about this emotionally intelligent man. You want to you don't hear that too much now. That was a trend. Now you don't hear emotional intelligence now, because they realize an emotional intelligent man is not going to deal with their bullshit, because they're the ones who lack emotional intelligence. They're the ones who don't know how to communicate. They're the ones who are insecure with themselves. They're the ones who are not whole and don't have their stuff together the way it needs to be when it comes to being in healthy relationships. They're the ones a lot of times that are toxic because they've been told that they're perfect. You don't have to make any changes. But when you come across a person who's actually worked on themselves and who actually are moving and living their lives in their purpose, and they're doing the things that is going to benefit them, and they've built themselves up, and they're at a place mentally where they're mentally stable and sound, and they know what they want, they know where they want to go, they have their goals in place. They're not, and they've worked on themselves for real. They're not going to let somebody who hasn't worked on themselves, who lack emotional intelligence, come into their lives and disrupt their peace. They're not going to allow it. So if you want a man who's emotionally intelligent, it's gonna point to your flaws and your lack of it. It's gonna point to where you need work and why you're insufficient for that man that you say you wanted. And they don't want that either, because it makes them feel this little. It makes them feel small. It makes them feel inadequate. And so they don't really want that, because it shows, it magnifies the fact that they don't even have the very things that they're looking for in men. And this is why they stick to Pookies and Ray Rays, because that's what they're familiar with. That is really their lane. And I don't care if you have an education. I don't care about none of that, because that does not give you are not knowledgeable of what men look for and the things that you say you want just because you got a degree. This is why those women are combative and they can't stay in relationships, because they have not worked on themselves in that way. They were too focused on degrees and getting to the bag, and you did that. And if you did well in that, you succeeded there, but you're unable to succeed when it comes to family and relationships with men or women at this point, because even the women on women are having problems because they haven't worked on themselves. And it's very evident. So this is where they fall short, but they don't want to accept that fact, and they want to keep blaming men, when in actuality, the problem is a lot of these combative women. It is. Thank you once again, my 2 cents for the super chat. I appreciate you. So definitely a lot of work needs to be done. Everyone judges. That's how we make decisions. That's true. Successful MD. Thank you for the super chat once again. Simon, thank you for the super chat. Says, have Black women rebuke the Lord? Child, good question. Good question, Simon. Child, they certainly not listening. They want to do what they want to do and flip up the scriptures to make it work for them. So I don't think they even want to hear. If the Lord could come down and tell them, you are in the wrong, you need to do this, that, and that, honor your man and do this, submit. And oh my God, what would they do? They're gonna flip out. They're going to flip their damn wigs. Thank you for the super chat, Simon. So, child, I wouldn't be surprised, because it's a hot mess. It really is. Let's move on, you guys. Listen to this clip for me. This was the question. Let's see. Can women can't discern when a man doesn't like them? Do y'all agree or disagree with that? Because remember, we talked about this whole discernment thing, where women got all this discernment and this intuition and all these kinds of things. Listen to this clip right here. Here we go.
Have a hard time understanding what it means to be with someone who does not like you.
Someone who only calls you when they want to have sex, someone who doesn't go outside with you during the daytime, calls you to check in but can't have a conversation longer than 2 minutes, someone who only talks to you about work. Whenever you try to get into the heavy conversation, they gaslight you. Somebody who just is not making progress. A man knows pretty quickly in the first month if you're going to be his woman. Honestly, just trust your gut. Like, you know.
There have been times and I'm like, I know this nigga don't like me.
And then sometimes you let him touch the cookie too soon, and you got to slow up on that. Like, because sex confuses things, and you start to create a scenario. We are delusional. We will create a whole mother sucker story in our head about a relationship that does not exist. Mm-hmm. And it's hard because a lot of people are lonely, and you're like, well, I just need this man in my bed. Okay. And now your heart is broke.
Goodbye. Bye. Bye.
Listen, do y'all agree with what they just said? Listen, what they said is true. That's how I said a lot of women are delusional. you create these scenarios and you believe the hype. You create it, you believe it yourself. But it goes back to this idea that women have all this discernment and all this intuition, but you know, and I think once again, like one of the ladies said, you know that this man don't like you, but you still entertain him because you want to have sex with him. You know, you want to be with him in an intimate manner. And you think that if you do that, that's going to change his mind. So you've already created this scenario in your head of how this is going to go. Oh, he's going to fall head over heels. It's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. He's going to fall in love with me. I'm going to put the cookies on him and he's going to fall. Once he get this, he's never going to turn back. He's going to start loving me and treat me like the princess that I am. Oh my God, he's going to go out his way for me. I'm going to give him a baby. And then he's going to be like, oh my God, I love this girl. So we can make a life with you. Y'all going to run off into the sunset, get you a house with the picket fences, have the babies, get married and live happily ever after. Yeah, a lot of these women, this is why a lot of these particular women are naturally, they envision these romantic storylines. They envision this fantasy. They do it because deep down they would love that. This is why they also say, oh, it'll take a certain kind of man to put me in my feminine. They're thinking of the fairy tale. They're thinking of, oh, if I get a man who's going to treat me like a literal princess and run behind me and go out of his way to treat me so well and just roll out the red carpet for me because I'm just so great. But I think the part that they miss is you're only looking at the romantic gesture from his side of it. You're only looking at him treating you like something that you're really not. You're not a princess. You have these masculine women with face tattoos and tattoos over there covering their bodies, and you're masculine. You're these women who have never experienced love, but in your mind, you feel like you would want to be in these fantasy stories, and you want a man to just treat you that way in spite of. But I mean, take away this: if you are envisioning a fairy tale, look at the women in the fairy tale, child. Just stop looking at the man and what you want him to do when it comes to the white knight who's doing all this for you. Look at the women in the fairy tale. What do they look like? Are they 300 pounds? Or are they masculine saying, what's up? What you want to do? Huh? What? Are they smoking cigarettes? Are they looking like a man? Are they acting like men? Or are they these kind of feminine creatures who are soft-spoken and very slim and girly with dresses on and talking in a feminine manner and acting in as such? Look at that. Focus on that. If you want the fairy tale from the princess point of view, look at the princesses. Look at the potential princess. Look at how she looks, how she acts, how she moves. Look at that. And understand that even if you wanted a man to treat you with respect and love and cherish you and all of these things, you need to be a certain type of woman for that type of man. Clearly. Because clearly they're not looking at the princess. They're not looking at the women in these fairy tales. You're only looking at the man. You're only looking at how he treats her, but you're not looking at how she treats him, how she responds, what she does. So you don't want to do that. You just want to be masculine, manly. You'll fight for your man, all that, and just fight niggas and all kinds of stuff and run out in front. Somebody, you hear something in the night, you jump up like the man and run past him and run into it. Like you don't even know how to be a feminine lady. You don't want to be a feminine lady because you had to work a job. So you got to see that this is mismatched, is misplaced. You got to be the type of woman in these stories to match that type of man. So if you're going to go by the fairy tales, get that part right. Focus on the women in the fairy tales And maybe you might get your Prince Charming. Maybe you might get a man who adores you and loves you. But if you're not willing to put in anything, and you're just delusional, you only see, and that's typical of a lot of women. You only see part of the story. You only see the part that you want, but not the part where you have to put in. You don't want to see the part where you have to put in. You got to do something, baby. You can't sit back and just expect everything without having to do anything and then complain when you have to do something. What y'all think? A relationship is based on two people working together, not one. Because that means that you're single. You make all the rules and all the decisions by yourself. But when you have two, it's a difference. It's two people working together. So you can't go into a relationship thinking that you call the shots and you make all. No, that's why you're single. Come on now. So yeah, think about when you think about a relationship. Think about. It's a give and take. It's compromising. It's working with each other. I say that all the time because a lot of people get it twisted. A lot of people want to go into these things thinking that they're the princess and the man is just supposed to do what they want to do. And that's why you by yourself. You don't even know what, your part. You don't even want to bring anything to the table. DeeDee, they are in soggy girl era. Rotted, ruined, baby. But they don't see it like that, Successful MD. They see themselves as these princesses, no matter if they're 40, 50, or 60 years old. Thank you for the super chat, Successful MD. They see themselves as these young queens. You know, that's why they get the BBLs at 60, because they don't feel like they're 60. They feel like they still in 25, 30 years old. They still feel like they're young, and they still feel like they look. And any person that thinks like that, I would say, go in your family book, your picture book, and go look at yourself at 20, right? Look at yourself at 20 versus 50, 40, 50, 60. Go look at yourself and see if there's a difference there. Because a lot of times there is. And just look at the difference. So, and put them up side by side. And look at it and see if you see a difference. Because a lot of times they do. BLVD73 says, I love natural black women, no BBLs. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Apparently, a lot of men do. A lot of men do, but you know. Are they listening? Are they listening? I don't know. Thank you once again for the super chat. Successful MD says BBLs can't reverse delusion or high mileage. Right. But I talked about this the other day, how they think going to school, getting several degrees, a job, a business, whatever. Thank you once again, Successful MD, for the super chat. Doing those things cancels out their past. That men should no longer look at the fact that they have a high body count, that they have all these children and never been married, didn't start out with a stable, upbringing or any of that. Somehow getting a degree just cancels all of that out. Like now, you're perfect and none of that matters. It shows you that they're living in a delusional state. And I really wish they would get it together. Honestly, get it together, take some type of advice. God damn. Learn something different from what you've been doing, because that is not working. You got people who are choosing to do sex work, OnlyFans, whatever, selling their bodies out here and thinking that they're the prize. You hear women all say, oh, I can get a man. Of course you can. Of course you can. I have no doubt about it. You're a woman. Now that's when you having a vagina makes some sense. Because of course you can use that vagina whenever you want to. It doesn't mean that a man really wants you. He just wants the vagina, honey. He don't want you. He want that. That's why when you give him that so easily, he runs off and he ghosts you, because he don't want you and everything that comes with you. He wants that. So if you're in this delusional state thinking, oh, I get men who want me all the day. Oh, baby, miss me with that. Oh, don't come for me, because that's how they talk. Oh, don't get it twisted. You don't think I can get men? Oh no, baby. We know, everybody know that women could get a man. No matter if you're 300 pounds, we've seen that. You can get a side piece. It don't matter a left piece. You can get several pieces. But I don't understand why women think, oh, they want you. No, they don't want you. They want that. And if you're willing to give it to them, they gonna take it. So don't get mad at them for taking it. You should be mad at yourself for allowing yourself to give it where you don't feel secure about yourself. You don't have any morals or values that you're just going to open it up to whoever you want to and then think that that's some type of empowerment and that, oh, because you're a woman, that all these men just want me left and right. No, they want that. And no matter if you're 500 pounds, if you open your legs, no matter how big, and you still got that, the ones who want to do that, they're going to do that, and then they're going to ghost you. And that's why they still out here looking for a man, because the men who you are giving that to, they don't want you. You don't get it? They want that, not you. And that, you should see by now, does not convince them to want you. Because so many women, all women think their vagina is better than the next. Oh, when I put this on them, I don't care what you do to them, baby. You can do everything in the goddamn book. Mouth, butt, vagina, whatever y'all doing out here now, child. Whatever is out there, you can do it all. You can put yourself out there. You can hoe it out. Do everything you think gonna convince, and you can let him do whatever he wants to do to you. That does not mean he want you. He'll take it if you're willing to offer it. If you're willing to let him do whatever he wants to you and you do whatever you want to do with him, thinking you can freak him out. And all you're going to come away with is a freak out. Him enjoying the freak out, and then he going to keep it moving. This is why these women be so distraught. You done gave this man every part of your body, and he don't want you still. You've done everything that you can think of, thinking that this is going to get him. And yeah, he going to enjoy himself. And you going to come away with nothing because he don't want you. He want that. And whatever you let him do, if you let him do all that, you know what I'm saying? He can make love to your ear. You let him do it. He gonna do it, whatever his kinks are, whatever he think he can get away with, and you let him do it, he gonna do it, and that's all he want from you. He want that, not you. So women gotta stop getting that twisted, because I think that's why they're so readily available to give their bodies to these men, because they think that that's gonna turn them out. This is not a new thing. Women have been thinking this for years, thinking that, oh, when he get this good coochie, baby, he mine. And then when it ain't yours, now you crying and mad and ask yourself why you so stupid. You crying and ask yourself, why am I so dumb? Why do I keep doing this? Why? I don't know what to do with myself. Why am I keep on doing it? Because you don't think much of yourself. That's why. You don't think much of yourself. You thought that was going to keep him and make him head over heels for you. When it didn't, you felt stupid. Be real. A lot of women have gone through that. And then you feel played, and you feel like he took advantage of you. No, he didn't. You allowed him to do it. Taking advantage of somebody is when somebody does something that you don't consent to, that you don't allow, that you don't want, and they force it upon you. That's taking advantage of you. No, giving yourself willingly to a person and just allowing whatever, you did that to yourself, boo-boo. So don't get mad at them, get mad at you. Get yourself together so that you don't put yourself out there like a trash can. Because that's what you're doing. You're a dumpster. You're allowing men to take control of your body, do what they want to your body, and then get upset when they don't take you seriously, because that's not their fault. That's yours. And women got to get that through their skulls. You got to understand the difference. The Geek Surgeon, thank you so much for the super chat, says the universe don't work in a vacuum. You have to put in for you to get out. These women have to look at their results. Natural law is always in effect. Thank you once again for the super chat. The Greek Surgeon made plenty of sense to me. Shalonda Robinson says, hi, DeeDee. What age did you have your first child? I'm asking because most women that I know nowadays are starting at 30 plus. No, I was in my 20s. First child I had when I was 23. So I was in my early 20s when I had my first when we had our first child. So yeah, I mean by 30, how many I had at 30 child. Yeah, I was in my 20s. So, yeah. Thank you once again for the super chat, Shalonda. BL, I don't know if it's Boulevard 73. Thank you for the super chat. Says, stop tearing up your box. Black are beautiful. 100. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Successful MD says, Popeyes sells plenty of breast, wings, legs, and thighs. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Successful MD. Irving Hunt says, DeeDee said, 500 pounds and opening legs. Real funny and disgusting, but I know ninjas will go for it. LOL. Yeah, because we saw, listen, Irvin, we saw this this lady. Was it Kendra G? Oh my God. She said she had a side piece. And this woman, I don't know, she's about 500 pounds to me. And, she literally man on, she had a man, she was on the show looking for a man, but she had a man who, she's giving it up to until she get a stable relationship. So, even though I'm like, most men probably wouldn't go for that. There's somebody out there who's looking, they don't care. They don't care if you're 1,000 pounds. If you're willing to give them, if you can get some of that and you're desperate, then they're going to do it. They're going to do it. If you're offering, they're going to take it. This is why it's a fact that most women don't have problems. They don't have an issue getting men for sex, but they misconstrue that and think, oh, I get men who want me. No, but they only want you for that. Like I said, they don't want you. This is why when you ask, that's a good question that Kendra actually asked. Okay, when was the last time you was intimate with somebody? And then they're like, last week. Why can't you put that man? Not because they probably wouldn't want to. This man don't want them. That's the bottom line. Thank you once again for the super chat, Irvin. I appreciate you. No, the man don't want them. They know that, but they'll give them their body, thinking that somehow something might come of that. That eventually he might be like, oh well, she's giving me this good loving, and then that he might all of a sudden want a relationship. See, if it's up to the men. This is why they say women are in control of their bodies and men are in control of relationships, because ultimately the man has to make a decision if he wants to be with you or not. You could decline, but he still has to offer it. You just can't make him want to be with you. And I think a lot of women think that they have control over that. This is why they say, oh, we're going to have fun in our twins. And then when I'm ready, I can have a man tomorrow. Yeah, you can have a man sexually tomorrow, but it don't mean that you can get married tomorrow. And I think it's a hit to their ego. It's a blow to their egos. They really think that that when they're ready, the men are just going to fall out the sky and be waiting, and they have the pick of the litter to choose which one they want to marry. No, you can't control that. A lot of women want to be in control so badly of other people's decisions. No, you're only in control of your decisions, your choices. You're not in control of what men want to do. They have that power to do that. Because I've heard this a lot. Oh, well, the man he's in control of that, but you have to agree. Well, whether you agree or not is a different story. He still has to want to, is the point. If he wants to marry you, then he'll propose to you. If he don't want to marry you, he's not going to do it. And you can want it all day. This is why you see women out here proposing to men, and these men say, nah, because that's not what they want. And you can't force it. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, if women like to say my body, my choice, but y'all making bad choices with your bodies. And then when you get the consequences of your body, your choice, now you want to blame the men. You can't have it both ways. You understand? You got to understand that there are consequences associated with your body, your choice, your outcomes, your circumstances, not anybody else's. Because if you make a choice to sleep with men who don't want you, you can't complain when they when you sleep with them and they still don't want you. You can't make it up in your mind or make these decisions in your head like, oh, because if I do this, even if it's a poor decision, oh, I'm going to make him change his mind. I'm going to make him want me. I'm going to change. He going to all of a sudden want it because if I do this, and they go out of their way to do certain things, thinking that it's going to change that man's mind. And when it doesn't, they're mad. All men ain't this. No, the one you chose to give your body to without him requiring anything from him, that's on you, sis. That's on you. That's on you for making that choice, not understanding the consequences associated with it. And understanding that's not going to make him change his mind. There's nothing you could do. You could put it on him till the sun come up. 3 days later, it's not going to make him want you. He going to want that. Yeah, he going to keep getting that as much as he can. He might like that, but it's not enough to get him to commit to you, boo. Because he don't want you. He don't want you. And sex is not going to change the fact that he don't want you. So they got to understand that. This is why I say understanding what men want, how men think is important. Because if you really want a man to want you, you got to understand what they want, how they think, what they look for. And you got to be willing to give them what they want if you really want a serious relationship. Classy Perspective. Thank you for the super chat. Classy says, I wouldn't be surprised if this woman will have sex with another man post operation or maybe even before the baby was born. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think that happens, Classy Perspective. I mean, that happens, child. I wouldn't put it past them. I'm not surprised. Thank you once again for the super chat. I'm a Boulevard 73. Thank you for the super chat. It says my wife loves your content. Well, thank you. Shout out to her. Tell her I appreciate it. I appreciate her watching. Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for the super chat. And tell her I say hi. Oh my goodness. Baby, it's just a hot mess. It is. Successful MD says those choices have left them as scrap material that's not suitable for recycling. Child. Highly educated plus foolishness equals super stupid. Look, no lies detected. I'm just saying. Listen, thank you for the super chat, Successful MD, once again. It's going to take a level of accountability. That's it. I don't care what nobody says. It's going to take a lot of rethinking rethinking or changing the mentality and choosing something differently. Because a lot of these people are screwed, and it's just, unfortunately, and it's affecting our communities because men don't have suitable women for marriage. And then they like to say, oh, black men don't want to marry these women. Well, they don't want any woman to marry. They want to make sure that they're making a commitment to a woman who's committed to them. For the ones who do want it, the ones who want marriage can't find suitable wives. The ones, Pookie and Ray Ray who are sitting back ain't thinking about marriage. That's the ones who these women are giving their time and their bodies to. Because they know that they're not prepared for the men who actually want it. And then they're constantly complaining, oh, black men don't marry. Well, black men marry at a higher rate than black women do. So that tells you that the men who want marriage and who have found suitable wives, they get married. But they're not rushing to get married now because they don't trust the options that they have. And a lot of these women just want somebody to take them as they are. And these men are saying, no, I've worked too damn hard. I'm not going to accept Bonquisha, who's 400 pounds over here with 3 children and 4 baby daddies. They don't want that. Y'all don't understand that is not an incentive for men to want to commit to you. They want more. They want better. If you got a bunch of men out here who are holding them, who are not making babies before they get married, before they have a wife, they have standards. They have certain qualities that they look for in a woman. They don't just want to accept any woman who has no standards, who's proven that she has no standards, who's proven that she is not qualified to be with the men that they say they want. And these men exist. It's just they don't have many options to choose from. These women are off the chain. And they've been that way for quite some time. And now it's being exposed. These men aren't, they're not settling. They're not settling. And why should they? We don't want a wife, no 1,000-pound hustlers. to be honest, there are women that I knew for years and had access. At no point did I ever want them for anything else. You're either feeling a woman or you're not. No difference than the friend zone. Look, like I said before, everybody, there are men who don't want to get married. There are women who say they don't want marriage, right? And I say every relationship is not the same. There's no one size fits all for relationships. You gotta get with you got to get with a person who's on your page level, however you want to put it. You got to get with somebody who's compatible to, who are compatible with what it is that you're looking for. And, far too often there are a lot of women who, and I talk about the women because the women are the ones who are expressing this. Women are the ones who are clearly stating that what they want, what they're looking for. But when you ask them, okay, well, what does the man you want from you? They usually don't know what that is. And they have the generic answers that they all give, but, and it's not really what men are looking for. And the very things that men say they want, these women are not willing to give it, so you're not willing to give it. You want them to accept you as you are, but you have all these standards and high expectations from it. Just not working. These men are different. These are not, you're right. These are just like they like to say, we're not our grandmothers and we're not the women back. These aren't the men from back then. These not the men who you're not your stepdaddy. These are not your stepdaddy that was a stepdaddy to you and accepting anything. No, these men want something in return. They're just not accepting the bare minimum. Like women would say, they don't want to accept the bare minimum, and these men don't want to accept the bare minimum. So where does that leave everybody? That leave them, separated. Men over here, women over here. They each saying they don't want to accept the bare minimum, but one of them is a bit more delusional than the other, and you're looking for something without really bringing much to the table. And so men aren't accepting it either. They're not settling either. So what are you going to do? And they don't want to make any changes, but they want you to make all the changes. They want you to have all this stuff, but they don't want to bring nothing. They don't even want to work and help. They want you to pay all the bills. They want you to do all this. They want you to give them this lifestyle. They want you to change their lives. They want you to take care of them and their kids too. They want you to do all these trips. They want you to do everything that they've seen on these reality shows. They want you to do the most, but they don't even want to make you a sandwich. They don't even want to, you don't want to cook. You don't want to clean. You don't want to contribute financially. You don't want to do nothing. You want an easy street lifestyle because you want that man to make up for all the time you had to work hard and work and take care of yourself. That's crazy. And they don't see that that's unrealistic. But at the same time, when even if a man, because to me, I don't think it's impossible for a man to take care of his family and take care of the household. A lot of these men already taking care of themselves. They got got homes or wherever they're living. They got all that situated. And it wouldn't be the hardest thing to bring in a wife and into your existing situation and build up on that and create a family. I don't think that would be difficult, but it's the type of woman, that you're looking for. It's usually not the woman who's ready for that. There's too superficial. They want you to spend all your resources on them. They want you to do the most. And then they don't even want to bring anything to the table. Boulevard 73, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these women aren't wifey material. They were never taught how to be wives or that was even important because they just thought that, a man just want vagina and I have that and I'm everything and he's going to accept me just the way I am. And these men are not fazed by that now. So it's they're in a sticky situation. They're in a catch-22. Successful MD says it's like bringing spoiled chicken to a cookout. Right. Right. Like nobody don't want that. Nobody don't want that. Right. So it's like, what do we do? Like, because after a while, thank you for the super chat, Successful MD. After a while, it's like, what more do they want from you? What more do you want from these men? What do you want? Because it's just a horrible hot mess. It really is. It's a horrible hot mess. And, you know, like I said, I personally think that it's going to start with the women. It has to. I think the men have always known that they needed to be stable. They need to be able to protect and provide for a family. I think men have always been told that. But once again, women, and I can't even recall being told what you're supposed to do for a husband and what type of wife you're supposed to be, or even raised to be a wife. You know, I mean, you weren't taught these things, like specifically taught these things that, oh, this is how you cater to your man. This is what you do for a man who's taking care of you, for a man who's expected and always have been told how you should treat a woman. This is what you need to do for, even in dating, even when they're young. Oh, this is what you're supposed to be, a gentleman for a young lady. You're supposed to do this for a young lady. You're supposed to do this, you that. Men have always been told that, but we never heard anybody really tell young women, this is what you're supposed to do for your man. See, it's always been one-sided if we're going to be honest about it. You know, women are just supposed to accept and take from a man, but never really been told what you should give one. You know what I'm saying? My lady made me join. Thank you, Boulevard 73. Once again, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Classic Perspective says she needs to be careful because she's open to bringing any man in her life, and that could be a danger to her child. She needs therapy. Thank you once again, Classic Perspective, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Successful Indie says, DeeDee, peace over a piece for 10,000, please. Peace over a piece for 10,000. I get it. I understand, you know, and I hear this all the time. Successful Indie, you know, men say, look, they would rather peace. So they're not going to jeopardize their peace for the peace. Makes sense to me. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, a lot of men are saying that now. They don't want to deal with these toxic masculine women, these women who are out here just thinking of everything, and you looking at them like, and honestly, I will say this, and I have another clip I want to play for you guys. A lot of men, from what I've seen, a lot of these men are very polite. I'll say that. You know, a lot of you guys are very polite. A lot of these men don't really say what they really thinking. There are some who expose, because a lot of men, you know, you see it on these Pop the Balloon shows, Kendra G or whoever, these dating shows. A lot of these men don't really say fully what they're thinking. They keep a lot of stuff in, because if these men, in my opinion, really express how they really felt about some of these hyenas, oh, these women would be trying to fight, child. I think, in my opinion, y'all can tell me if y'all wrong. It's just my opinion. I think a lot of men hold back because they don't want to come off as sassy, or they don't want to come off in a disrespect. I think a lot of men are very respectful in their responses toward women because that's what they've been raised or taught to how to be. And I think even to this day, a lot of men hold back. Because if these men did not hold back and really express what they really thinking about a lot of these women, oh, I'm telling you, these women gonna want to fight you. And I think men know that they're gonna be labeled sassy or disrespectful or whatever, because y'all don't really get the chance to express yourselves and say, you can't really say what you really think. But if you could just unleash and say what you really think about a lot of these women, oh, child, it would be butthurt. It would be hurt. They'll be hurt because I look at a lot of these women and I'm looking at half of them. They talking about these men on these Pop the Balloon shows, their shoes, how they dress. And I know some of these men want to say, girl, ma'am, your wig is busted. Girl, look at them toes. Look at them shoes. Your whole look is just a hot mess, or you just look like just horrible all over, all around. Half of these women be missing teeth. Child, I seen a buck-tooth lady trying to tell his man about how he look at that man. He looking at her, and I know he probably saying, you got the audacity to call me out, and you sitting there with these big buck teeth in your mouth, and you can't close your mouth fully because your teeth too big, and you trying to call me? What? Oh, but y'all can't say that. See, you can't tell her She could tear you apart from limb to limb, but you can't look at her and say, girl, and look at you. You got this big gap buck teeth in the front of your mouth, and you trying to tell me about y'all can't do that. See, y'all can't do it. But I'm pretty sure you done sized these women up and saw all of their flaws and said, now you know that BBL is crooked, and that don't even go with your legs. Your legs too skinny for that big old fake booty. That wig is atrocious. You got big butt teeth in your mouth. That outfit is horrible. You can't tell them that they have the audacity to try to pick you apart. And looking at them, I know y'all could have a lot to say, but you hold back because you know that you're gonna be scrutinized. But as a woman looking at it, I'm like, damn, sometimes they need to be held to the fire. Sometimes they need to be told the truth, because I'm looking at you too, and I notice you got big buck teeth in your mouth and you trying to tell him how he look. Your outfit is horrendous. That wig is atrocious. Your makeup is crazy. These flat shoes you got on look hot. You know, it's a lot that I see that where these men could rip these women to shreds, but you can't do that. That's why they be like, don't do too much. Don't do too much, but you could do everything. But you don't want the man to do too much. They know it. That lady wearing that onesie and that pink wig had the audacity to tell that man about his outfit, y'all. He could have ripped her to shreds if he wanted to, but y'all can't do it because y'all gonna be classified as sassy, and you shouldn't go back and forth with women. But we know the women with some sense we see it. You see it. The audacity to try to tear these men apart. It's ridiculous when you looking like that. So, child, it's a mess. It really is. Classy Perspective says the only man that was factual was Dre, and that was the older women with 3 kids by 3 men. That's why he's the talk of the show right now. Who is Dre? I don't know who that is, but thank you for the super chat. And then that other guy was that the plumber? I don't know if that was the plumber or not, but yeah, you know, you're labeled sassy when you call stuff the way you see it. But it's okay for them to do that. You know. Thank you, Classic Perspective, for the super chat. James Isaacson, thank you for the super chat. Says, yes, most of us men do not say what we really think. I'm one of those men. I just say to these hyenas, I'm not interested. Right. So I say y'all are more respectful because y'all don't say what y'all really think. See, but these women feel like they can just tear y'all apart and say what anything because it's acceptable. And I don't think that that's right. And it just shows you the true nature of these women. And these women are walking red flags because it shows you the type of character that person has and the type of person that they are. Because somebody that you don't know, why do you feel like you could just come out and just talk to these men that you don't know any old kind of way? But you want the utmost respect for them because they're used to that. They're used to men just being respectful no matter that. One of those ladies basically disrespected that man to his face by telling him, I like a real man. So basically you're disrespecting him and insinuating that he's not a real man and you don't even know him. They don't even realize the level of disrespect that they portray or put out to these men. But if a man said, I want a real woman, to her, she would be highly offended. She would be highly offended. And I just think you got to put yourself in a position of a man or anybody else and recognize how you want to be treated and treat them accordingly. You don't have to agree with somebody all the time. Thank you once again, James, for the super chat. I appreciate you. You don't have to agree with people all the time. You don't have to even like them, but you can certainly respect a person. And there's a way to do everything. And I just think that they're so out of control, they don't even realize it, because like I said, anything goes when it comes to a lot of these women. Just you could say anything to a man, disrespect him, have no regard for them, but you want all regard for your feelings and all of that. And I just think that, that's unfortunate, and I just think they don't see themselves. But you could see everything and point out everything in these men. You don't see yourself at all. And these men could tear them apart. And you'll see how fragile they are and how insecure they are when you do it. But, society going to look at you and say, wow, that man shouldn't have did this. It's sort of like a woman hitting a man, hitting him, knocking him across his head. And nobody says a thing. Is that okay for you to disrespect this man and abuse him, slap him, push his head, push him, call him out his name, do all that. And the minute he turn around and slap you, put you back, call you out your name, oh, he's wrong for that. Oh my God, you shouldn't treat a woman like that. But it's okay for her to treat him like that. There's no regard for these men. They're human beings too. There's no regard for a man. You could just treat him, disrespect him, treat him any old kind of way, disrespect him, abuse him, and nobody says a thing. But when he responds, oh my God, they jump to it. You shouldn't do that. That needs to stop. That needs to stop because it's been going on for far too long. And that's why women do what they do, because it's accepted. A man is just supposed to, you could just do them any old thing you want to do them. No regard for their feelings. Just because they don't express their feelings the way we do, don't mean that they don't have them. And it's just straight up disrespect to think that you can just do anything to a man, talk to him crazy, disrespect, and there shouldn't be any, because there's no consequences. But the minute he defend himself, he's the most horrible man ever. That's crazy to me. And I don't like that. I don't like it. I think it's horrible for anybody to think like that. I just don't think like, I mean, and they understand it when they have sons. If a young hyena jumped up and punched her son in the face and abused him and talked to him crazy, she would want to beat her ass. This when you'll see a mama, the mama hyena come out and beat the hell out of that young girl, because you want to defend your son, but you don't understand that when it comes to other men. It's sad. Connor, thank you for the super chat. Says literally some places like UK, it's against the law. Thank you for the super chat, Connor. I appreciate you. You know, so it's just unfortunate that it's that way. But I just think, you know, sometimes these women need to be put in their place to make them understand that men are not going to tolerate that. Because the longer you just don't say anything, yeah, you're going to get backlash, but you got to defend yourself. You can't just let somebody just come out and berate you and assassinate your character and just treat you in a kind of way. And you just sit there and take it because that's what they're used to. That's why they keep doing it. Zick says women will even mentally abuse their man to control them. Things like convincing a well-earning man that he's not doing well, or telling a clearly fit man that he's average. Meanwhile, men play nice. Exactly. Thank you for the super chat, Zick. I appreciate you. Yeah, and listen to what women say. Let me just say that. Listen to what they say. Because usually the things that they're saying is them projecting their feelings. That's how they feel. And I've heard women say this, you need to, this woman literally came out and said, you need to belittle them, cheat on them. What she said, lower their confidence, make them feel, insecure or something like that, to put him down, lower his self-esteem, make him feel, a certain way. They literally say that's what you need to do to a man. But it's the very same thing that they complain about. You complain about men belittling you. You talk about men try to lower your self-esteem and take away your confidence. They want to put you in your place. What else they say? Men want to, some other stuff they say, but basically they complain about men doing that to them. But it's the very same thing they're saying you should do to a man, to get him in line and make him want you and all that, make him feel less than, so that he feels like he needs you and that he's beholden to you because he may not have options other than you. So make him feel small, take away his self-esteem, belittle him, let him know that he doesn't have any other options, that you're the best thing that could have ever happened to him. This is the shit that these women like to do. Some women like to tell men. But if a man did that to them, they would be on social media crying and complaining and say, he's controlling, he's taking away my self-esteem. He wants to trap me and keep me in this place. So make me think that he's my only, the very same things they complain about is the very same things that they like to do to y'all. This is why I say, listen to what they say and realize that it's a projection of their own feelings. And if she's saying that to you, leave her alone. Because I don't think any woman should try to take anything, or anybody should try to take anything from any human being, any person. You shouldn't try to belittle a person. You shouldn't try to take away their self-esteem to make them feel smaller so you feel bigger so that you can control them. Come on now, that's toxic behavior. And I don't think anybody should fall for it. So just be aware that if you have a woman who's telling you that, baby, she's no good. Leave her the hell alone. She does not have your best interest at heart. Walk the fuck, excuse my language, away. And I mean it. Run. Do not walk. Run from her because she's toxic and she's no good. And she's up to no good. I'm dead ass. That is not somebody that you want to have in your life because she is not there for you for the right reasons. Run. Biggest red flag ever. Don't ever let any woman try to control you and tell you you're not worth anything or tell you, oh, your job ain't nothing when you doing well for yourself. That's them trying to lower your self-esteem, make you feel smaller than what you are so that they can manipulate you and control you. So that they can have the upper hand. Never let a woman do that to you. And I don't think women should let men do it to them. Because if we can acknowledge that there are men who do that, which there are, we got to acknowledge that women like to be men. And a lot of these women, they take the behavior of the worst men out here and try to emulate that, child. And keep that in mind too. These women aren't trying to emulate the good men. They're not trying to emulate the men who are positive and are loving and men who are looking to treat women well. They're emulating the worst men. So always be mindful of that, child. Just telling you. Thank you once again for the super chat, Zick. Please do not let these women control you and take over you that way. Because once again, and I'm gonna say it again. These women are projecting their own thoughts and feelings onto you to manipulate you. Don't get it twisted. A lot of these women are very conniving and they're very slick. And they'll have you thinking that you're productive, doing well, yourself together and constantly working on yourself. Oh, they will come in and try to tell you you ain't good enough. You ain't good enough. You should be here. You should be doing this. Oh, that job ain't nothing because you should be getting this job or you should always be leveling up. You need to try to do this. No, tell her, you know what? You need to keep it moving because I don't have time for you. Don't fall for that. Successful MD says a sign that Pookie put his brand, her, she's expired. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it's a mess. So y'all need to really be mindful of that. Don't ever let somebody try to tear you down and tell you what you're not and all of that. That's a red flag that person is not the best one for you. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm serious. Don't do it. Do not do it. As much as women, I would tell that to any woman too. This if you got a man who's not supportive and he's always putting you down and telling you you're not good enough, that's a red flag for you to get the hell out of there too. This goes for women too, and with men who tell them that. But see, once again, and I'll say this: see, women have the support. We already have the support. Women already have the support of what to do if we encounter a no good man. See, we have the support by everybody of how to get out of that, how to avoid them, what you should be doing and what you shouldn't let a man do. But we don't never talk about the good men who are exposed to these types of women, because once again, they like to make you think that this only applies to men, that all the men are just trying to manipulate you and take advantage of you. When we know we got manipulative women out here, we know we got abusive women out here. We know the same type of men that they complain about. We know there are women out here who do the same thing. So we got to let these men know that, hey, these are the types of women you need to avoid. They talk like all the women in the world are just so great and flawless. Child, like there's too many of these ratchet hyenas out here for you to act like all the women in the world are just the best thing since sliced bread, when we know that they aren't. It's a sisterhood trying to cover it up and look over it and act like they all perfect, when I know good and well that they're not. So y'all have to be aware of these types of women too. Child, it's just a hot mess. I'm not here for it. I'm really not. I'm really not. And it didn't take me to have sons to realize this. I realized this already, but I don't want my sons running into no goddamn hyenas and hyenas who gonna think they could use and abuse my sons and take advantage of them and try to lower it. Hell no. Because as long as I'm alive, baby, I'm gonna call it out. And I'm gonna let you know, baby, you ain't fooling me. And I'm gonna let you know I'm not here for it, and I don't give a damn. I'm gonna let you know, hey, baby, you could kick rocks when it comes to me. I'm gonna give you a hard time. Period. I'm gonna give you a hard time. I'm gonna run you away. If you coming with that kind of attitude, baby, you best believe, baby, I'm gonna give you a run for your money. You're gonna be forced away if it's left up to me. I'm just saying. No, because it's just a mess. Let's move on. I got another clip for you guys, and then we're going to wrap this up. What do you think of this? Here we go.
And Kurt, like that is, I talked to Rashida and Yandy last night. Them motherfuckers ain't never leaving them, man. They real women. Real women don't leave they men, cuz, at all. Cuz they know what? They know the future. The future is go far and beyond these weak they lead they want to be on their own. They think they strong. Okay, be strong. You feel what I'm saying? Be on your own. Raise all your kids. Do everything. You know, and that just be like, and then you get a worse in the end and you got to die with that. You know what I'm saying? Or you just lead it and you just by yourself anyway. You know what I'm saying? I feel like some of these women, they need to be by themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Be for real about the grass ain't green on the other side.
Yeah, the grass ain't green on the other side. That motherfucker there's another side.
Anybody you deal with, it's gonna be some shit that you don't like about that person. It's just the things from person to person that's gonna be different. So it's like,
and Buddy married right here.
Yeah, folks be sitting around there looking for upgrades. You dig? The day your layoff be the day your payoff.
I'm telling you. And I tell him all the time, like, I don't give a fuck what you go through with your wife.
What you tell me all the time.
Fuck you feel me? I don't give a fuck what you go through with your wife. Stay with your wife, because I wish I would have stayed with mine. You know what I'm saying? I wish I would have goddamn grabbed her motherfucking arms and tied them up and just like, we gonna stay together. Like, but I ain't that type. You know what I'm saying? I already know. You already know. I ain't finna force. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna force nothing. I try to for a minute, but if it don't work.
So what do you guys think about what he had to say? He said, listen, real women like Rashida and Yandy don't leave their husbands. Real women don't leave their men at all. They know the future. That's what Scrappy is saying. And he's referring to it. I don't know if you guys watch Love and Hip Hop, but they're from that show. And, you know, everybody knows that Yandy, you know, we don't know, her husband's relationship has been a little rocky. And then, what's his name? Rashida and Kirk, they've, you know, she's dealt with infidelity in the marriage, and he's had, you know, babies and all of that. But they still together. And a lot of women are like, girl, why are you dealing with that? You need to leave him or whatever. So what do you think about Scrappy's statement? Do you think that real women stay in their marriage? Because they're married. Do you think that real women stay in their marriage despite the men cheating on them? Do you look at that as an honorable thing? Or do you think, or you look at it as these women just, you know, allow these men to just take advantage of them and exploit them and everything else? And maybe they, you know, if he's cheating and making babies in the marriage, should she walk away? Do you think that's honorable that these women stay, or do you think that they're fools for staying in their marriage? Let me know in the chat. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Successful MD, thank you for the super chat. Says they try to make good men suffer because they chose to let pookies and share their neighborhood baby daddies ruin them. Right. Exactly. I get what you're saying, Successful MD. Thank you for your super chat. Yeah. I mean, that's facts. I mean, it's just what it is. They you know, it's just, you want to penalize a good man for the mistakes that you made. So the good man got to come in with the world, while Pookie and Ray Ray, you know, your baby fathers, who you gave babies to and gave them all your youth and time and money and all of that, then you didn't require anything. So now these men got to bring the world to you and change your life, and you probably don't even really want to be with them. So that's just insane to me. Let's see. Invalid account says just because a man wants to take his role as a provider seriously doesn't make him a simp, in my honest opinion. Okay. Generation Love says good word. Lorenzo Rubber says no laws that protects men in America. So, listen, when it comes to what Scrappy said, I think it's a choice. I think when you get married, it's for better or worse, sickness and health till death do us part. It's supposed to be until one of you pass away. And then the agreement is over. When it comes to people's marriages, I try to stay out of it because whatever they choose to do within their marriage, that's their business. If a woman is married to a man that she knows cheats and does all of that and she's okay with it, that's her. For somebody else, that might be a deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends on what you want to do in your marriage. I'm not going to say a woman is horrible for staying. I'm not going to say she's, she's horrible if she left. That depends on your specific marriage and what you allow. Because there are a lot of people who are married who are okay with is not cheating to them. See, we're always on the outside looking in. Some marriages they have an agreement that it's okay for you to go out and have extramarital affairs. It's okay, but just don't let it get out. Some of them agree to, I know you're going to, fool around, but don't bring a baby. That's the agreement for some. What is the agreement? Whatever your agreement is within your marriage, that's what you have to honor. And so we are not privy to those agreements. We don't know what's acceptable and what isn't. We just go off of what we think a person should or shouldn't do, and we judge based off of that. But if your agreement that's a part of your agreement, then that's well within your marriage. It's just the public becomes privy to it if you're in social media or if you're a public figure, and then those people are, of course, going to judge because they don't really know what's really going on. So that's up to you. Boulevard 73 says being married is a joke. He says I get hit on by my wife friends all the time. So being married, is no joke. Okay, I got you. I read it wrong. Being married is no joke. I get hit on by my wife's friends all the time. Yeah, they say women like men who are already attached to somebody because that means that you will commit. So they say women are attracted to men who can get women. So if you got a wife, that means you like being married and you will get married. So that's a turn on to these women. Which is crazy to me. They say women like men who could get women. And it partly is part of the reason why women go after men who are married and have a bunch of women. That's crazy, but that's what they're saying. Thank you so much for the super chat, Boulevard 73. I appreciate you. Invalid account said marriage is like a wave. There's ups and downs. You can ride it, just better be able to swim. Right. Ray says to death do us part. Both parties should always make it work unless they are completely incompatible and have tried all their options. Boulevard 73 says time. I guess that was a part of make a deal. Flip for Life says make a deal. Child, listen, I always say, look, marriage is work, relationships are work. You got to go into it understanding that it's work. That's all. It's not as complicated as people like to make it sound. I think because people make it sound so complicated, you put more into it than what needs to be there. And you go into it with these negative ideas of what a marriage should be or a relationship should be. And people take that on and they really think it's so hard and it's so difficult. It's work, but I don't believe that it's unattainable. And I don't think it's as difficult as people like to make it. And the only reason I think it's difficult is because when you're dealing with selfish-minded people and you're only thinking about yourself, that's what makes it difficult because you're only looking at what you can gain out of it, what that person should be doing for you, and you're not thinking of the other person. So yeah, of course, if you're not getting what you feel and believe that you should be getting out of the relationship, it's going to be difficult for you to stay in it because you don't feel like it's serving you or you're benefiting from it when you shouldn't single-handedly benefit from it. You guys should grow and benefit together and work together. It's a together thing. It's a we, not me. It's not just about you. It's about you guys growing and building together. So if you think of it like that and you go into it with the mindset of, I'm not trying to gain anything. We're supposed to grow and build together. I think you'll have a different experience and you'll have a different outcome. But we've never been really taught about how relationships should look and what we should be doing in it and what we should expect from it. We've only seen horrible examples of relationships. A lot of us didn't see stable relationships between our moms and our dads. So we don't know what it's supposed to look like. All we have are the examples of the people around us. And the majority of those examples are toxic. You see a lot of arguing. You see a lot of fighting. You see a lot of just toxic behavior on both sides. So really, it does the opposite. It make you grow up saying, I don't want to be married. I don't want to be in a relationship because all it's just toxic. Women are this, men are this. So you have a negative idea of what a relationship should look like based on what you've seen. So you grow up thinking, I don't want that. I don't want that. And so you move accordingly because you think that's the way it is in general. And it's not really that. So I get it and I understand, but you just got to understand what a relationship should look like. It's not a perfect situation. It's not you get your way on a highway because women don't respond well to that. You got to understand what women are and how women think. And just as well as women got to understand how men think and who men are and how men act. Men don't act like us. So you can't look at it as a negative thing, but you got to look at it as that's what it is. It's not a negative thing, but men respond and act differently from women. We are not the same. And I think once women realize that too, you can understand men better and you can work with them better. It's just a matter of understanding each other and not taking everything as a negative and, oh, well, he don't do this. They're going to do stuff like you would do. They're going to do it the way they do it. And you got to accept that. Just like men got to accept that the nature of women. Women are just going to be in their feelings. We are emotional creatures. We're not going to change. We don't have to be toxic with it, but we're just emotional people. You got to learn how to embrace that. And women got to understand learn how to embrace the nature of a man. That men are just a certain way. But if he's a man, he has great character. He's a loving man, and he's a provider, and he loves his family. He's working toward things, and he has a good heart and good spirit. He's still going to be a man, though. He's not going to sit down and cry with you all day when you're in your emotional stupor. That's not his nature. He's not going to gravitate to that. He can, console you, but he's not going to sit there and cry. He's not going to act like an emotional woman. And I think women just think men are supposed to, and you put them in that category thinking, oh, he's not responding the way I want him to, like I think he should. And then you take that as a negative, and then you want to leave over stuff that is out of his control. That's not who men are. So it's just a lot that people can learn. And if you learn that, a relationship shouldn't be that difficult, It's going to have its ups and downs, but it shouldn't be something that you cannot manage. That's all I'm saying. And if the love and the respect and the commitment is there, oh, you can get through anything. If the foundation is strong, oh, you can get through anything. And I think that's the whole point, So that is it for this live stream, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Make sure you guys hit the like button on your way out. Definitely continue to watch the videos that are on the channel, you guys. Support, share, like those videos, and watch those videos, y'all. We need to get the numbers up on the videos that are already posted on the channel. That definitely helps your sister out. So make sure you guys do that. Hit the like button on your way out. If you're in the building and you like the content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps me out. Share the video. Follow me on my other channel. Subscribe to my other channel, you guys. It's in the description box. Go ahead and subscribe to the second channel. support that channel as well. At some point, I will be posting content over there. You guys just bear with me. Trust me. It's coming. But go over and subscribe to that channel, you guys, so that you'll hit the bell over there, over here and over there as well, so you'll be notified when I do post new content. So that is it for today's live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Y'all be safe out here in these streets. And thanks to everybody who gave super chats, cash apps. Thanks to everybody who liked the stream, who shared it. Thanks to all the new members, you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for the support. And yeah, thank you so much. Y'all be safe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Mwah. Bye.